Hey y'all, and welcome back to the channel. I have just traded my old shelter for a new one, and this time it's ultralight. Let's check it out. This is gonna be my first night in my new tent, the Fortius 2-person tent by Outdoor Vitals. First setup was a little wonky. It's real windy, but it was a little wonky trying to set it up. So I'm still trying to get the points and everything in place, but already it's significantly warmer in here than it is out there. So I'm pretty stoked about that and excited to see if I stay warm. It's supposed to be around mid 40s, I think, tonight. Mid to low 40s. Tonight's supposed to be the coldest night. So see how it does. Y'all, I want you to see how much the wind is blowing. This tent is flapping around me. But this thing flapped all night long. And she's still standing. Just still standing. I didn't give you the setup because Outdoor Vitals does a really good job of including instructions when you make a purchase for this tent. And then they also have a really awesome YouTube video that will tell you exactly how to set this up. So what I'm gonna do instead is kind of give you a walkthrough and show you some of the points that I really like about it and why I chose this tent. All right, so the first reason that I chose this tent is because it weighs at about 35, 36 grams. Which my other tent was about 50 grams. So anytime we can shave off a little bit of poundage, then that's a great thing. The other reason I chose this is because the other tent that I had was just pitched straight down the center, and it was very uncomfortable because the walls, the way that we slept, or the way that I slept, was this way and not this way. So the walls were always in your face. The other reason that I wanted to go with this is because this has 2 doors. So you have a vestibule on this side, and I've already got this rolled up, but it does have just as much space here or on the other side as it does here. So you have all this extra floor space once I close this vestibule, which is really nice. So a couple of things to note. First of all, this is a trekker pole tent. I went with a trekker pole. You know, people go back and forth between trekker poles and freestanding. My last tent was a trekker pole tent. My hiking partner, Daisy, she uses a freestanding tent, and ultimately it's about preference. What it boils down to is that a trekker pole tent most of the time will be lighter weight than a freestanding tent. At no point when we've been out on the trails have I reached have I been in a position where I pitch the tent and I need to move it. You know, Daisy has had to do that maybe 1 or 2 times with her freestanding tent. Again, we were both comparing our tents last night, and when it comes to the footprint and the size, they're basically the same. We both have screens, we both have vestibules. Again, it just comes down to a matter of preference and weight, and I am looking to try to get as ultralight as possible because my body likes it better, and so that's why I went with the Outdoor Vitals 2-person tent. Now, a couple of things to note. Like I said, they do give some really good instructions on how to put this tent up. But I want to point out a few things that I have encountered or that I just kind of thought maybe that you guys would appreciate as well. So first of all, on setup, the Outdoor Vitals, they do a really good job providing instructions on how to set this tent up. So that's why I didn't show it to you. But they have you mounting the guy wires, or the lines, that's how they have you setting the tent up. I did notice when I was setting up that there are these points on the floor, on the bathtub floor. However, when I spoke with a representative from Outdoor Vitals, they said that that is not necessary. That's why they don't show it in the instructions. However, what I have found in me setting it up, and it's more so because I am unfamiliar with the orientation of the tent yet, I found that by putting the stakes into the floor first, that allowed me to know exactly where I wanted my tent and to make sure that I had enough room for my tent. And then I would go around each corner and I would pull the stakes out and then mount them into the lines. Now it comes with 8 stakes. As of right now, I have 2 in the floors, and then I've pulled the other 2 out and put them all around the tent itself. Now, inside the tent, you have lots of space. Last night I did not have, like I've got the floor mounted on this corner and the floor mounted on this corner, but they have said, or I didn't mount the corners last night, and my gear being inside with my sleeping pad was just fine. Didn't have any trouble whatsoever with that. Now you may notice that there's some floppiness here, and I'm gonna take you outside and show you what these are. And this is to help pull, these lines will help pull and give you more space. So I'm gonna take you outside and show you what these look like. Now, another thing that I love about this tent is all of the ventilation. The ventilation, you can see there's screens underneath between the top of the tent and the floor itself. So there's plenty of ventilation, so you should not have any condensation. We were in really heavy winds last night and I didn't have any condensation issues. The other thing that they provide you are these extra guy lines. This is so that if you are taking wind, so let's say I'm taking a lot of wind on this side and it's flapping, then this is detachable. And you can put it on these hooks, and these hooks are all around each panel, and then you can mount it to help prevent some of the floppiness that you've got going on with the wind. Now these are really cool. Like I said, these, you can pull these out. They do is they pull straight out, and then you can mount those down as well, and that gives you more headspace on the inside. Now, since my head is gonna go on that end, you see how that panel keeps kind of flopping in? So I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna pull those guy lines back so that I can give myself a little bit more headspace and that's not flopping me in the head throughout the night. Okay, so I'm gonna do 2 things to try to combat this floppy side where we're taking wind. One, I'm gonna hook this extra guy line to the hook at the bottom so that I can pull that a little more taut. And then I'm also going to run these out a little tighter and get those hooked in again so we can pull that away from, well, it comes off. Pull that away from my head in the inside. And these are real easy just to tie back on. Now we are expecting some rain tonight. Not a lot, but definitely some. So I'm excited to be able to test this out in all these weather conditions while I'm out here. One being in all that wind we had last night. I know I didn't get a whole lot of footage, but you guys seen how the tent was blowing around. And then tonight in the rain, because this thing is supposed to be waterproof, or actually very waterproof. So we'll get to see how waterproof this evening. So I'm hoping, yeah, that will work, I think. So I'll use the same stake, pull it away, and then tuck these down in there. Hopefully that one stake will hold that, and that won't be flopping against my head tonight. And then I can still tighten these lines up just a little bit if I need to. Good. Now let's go inside and check it out. Yeah, there we go. So now that's gonna pull that panel away from my head, and it's not all flippy floppy. And it won't be beating me in the face. Last night, and then you see this one is still kind of sagging, and I could do the same thing there, but that's where my feet are, so I'm not too concerned about that. So yeah, that should be nice. Last night it was just so windy and I was still learning this tent, and so I did not pull those panels back to keep it out of my face, and it woke me up quite a bit last night. So I'm anxious to see how well it does tonight in the wind and the rain and see if I stay dry. I do feel like this tent is going to get easier and easier to set up the more that I become accustomed to each point as far as where to tie it off and that sort of thing. But as far as lightweight, you can't beat it. I mean, it's under 2 pounds, so I love that. And the other thing, let's talk a little bit about pricing, because ultralight, typically you think, oh, it's gonna be ultra expensive. So what I really, really love about Outdoor Vitals is that they sell direct to consumer. So they cut out the middleman. You don't have to worry about those big box stores. And so you get to save a lot of money by going straight to them and them selling directly to you. They also have what is called a Live Ultralight membership. And I have joined that, and that has helped me to also get several big discounts on this. Not only do I get 15% off of everything that I purchase, but also the monthly membership fee goes directly into a bank for you to buy more Outdoor Vitals gear. So, and then you get special offers and discounts all throughout the season. So I'm really excited about using this tent and being able to get it at a fraction of the cost that I would get most ultralight tents. Now let's set up for the night. We're going to cook dinner and enjoy the rest of our evening. Hopefully get the sunrise in the morning and have a really nice night. And I'll let you know tomorrow how I sleep. All right, it is probably about 7:30, 7:45. Daisy and I go to bed early when it's cold and we're out here backpacking, just because it's more cozy inside. Yeah, so yes, it's still light outside. But that's okay, we don't mind. All right, we've had a good dinner and we've watched the sun go down, and now we're going to bed. Hopefully get a good night's sleep and finish out the rest of the weekend. Night, y'all. Good morning. So I woke up this morning and this is what I'm experiencing in the Fortius. Lots of condensation. We didn't have a whole lot of like breeze blowing. I mean, there's airflow, right? So you can see the breeze blowing somewhat. But this is a lot. I'm not sure. Someone had said something about taking a microfiber cloth to it. So I'm gonna have to figure out a solution for the condensation. Because it's definitely dripping onto like my pillow and my pad. I'm not too much of a fan of that. So yeah, I have a, but it's definitely wet. But as far as keeping some temps and stuff in here, it's pretty good. I mean, I didn't get terribly cold. Of course, I have my storm loft. I have my storm loft quilt, which always keeps me nice and warm and toasty. So yeah, overall I like the tent. I'm just not a fan of the condensation, so I'll have to figure out some sort of solution there. All right, y'all, that is it for the Fortius 2-person tent by Outdoor Vitals. The tent also comes with its own dry bag. As you can see, I've got it nice and stuffed. It comes with extra guy lines and 8 aluminum stakes. Like I said, if you feel like you need to stake the footprint or the floor, then you may want to bring some extra stakes along, or I think you can buy some extra stakes on their website. All in all, I love the tent. I love how lightweight it is. I am learning how to properly put it up, and I feel like with practice, I'm gonna get better and better at that. And then, so I love that, and then I love that I can use my trekking poles, because anytime that I can cut some extra weight off, I enjoy that as well. My only gripe, per se, about the tent is the condensation. Now, in the tent's defense, we are in a very, very high moisture area. My hiking partner, Daisy, she has a freestanding tent, and she was just talking about how much condensation was on her floor print as well as on her rain fly. So I'm definitely heavier with this condensation, but again, We have no tree cover, no canopy, which we usually do have. So just something to think about. If you're in a drier area, you're not going to have any trouble whatsoever. But if you do end up in a climate that is carrying a lot of moisture overnight, then you're going to deal with some condensation. So I'm going to work on what my options are and reach out to the folks at Outdoor Vitals to see what some of their users are doing to help combat that condensation. But all in all, I do love the tent. I love the quality of the products from Outdoor Vital. You really can't beat the direct-to-consumer sales, and to be able to save yourself money. And that Live Ultralight membership will also help you to save a lot of money with their discounts and giving you credit back for your membership fees. So anyway, awesome tent. Thanks for watching. If you watched this video to completion, be sure to give me a thumbs up to let me know that you were here. Also, drop me a comment. Let me know what you thought about the Fortius 2-person tent from Outdoor Vitals. And if you have not already, be sure to subscribe to the channel so that you can catch all the adventures from Down South Adventures. Thanks for watching.